Rant and Rave, here we go. Let's have our favorite players of all time. We start in baseball. Tucker, who are your favorite baseball player?
I got to go with Chipper Jones. I mean, it's a kind of a, give me, I guess. I mean, I'm from Alabama. Chipper Jones, kind of a southern country guy, and growing up in the 90s, of course. And I've loved Chipper Jones as a kid, and I still think he's the most relatable player that I've ever seen play, for me anyway.
Well, we're going to show our generational gap here.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Phil NIEKRO.
Oh, okay.
We're going from the I got a tie. Phil NIEKRO and Dale Murphy. I can't just do
I knew you'd have Murphy in there somewhere.
Yeah, Murph and Phil NIEKRO both are my two favorites. I mean, it's who you grew up
Right.
watching, and that's what my answers are going to be here. But yeah, I love Phil NIEKRO. Before Glavine and Smoltz and Maddox, it was all about Phil NIEKRO. The Braves didn't have any pitchers. It was all number 35, Phil NIEKRO. And he was a great pitcher and a great Hall of Famer as well. So I'll go with him. And, of course, number 3, Dale Murphy. All right, how about basketball? Well, here we go again. I'm showing my age. I'm going to go with number 21.
I will, too.
Dominique Wilkins, the University of Georgia and Atlanta Hawk. That's the perfect player right there for me,
Yes.
Tuck. He was a great player, my gosh. I mean, the Hawks finally have a star 28 years after trading Dominique Wilkins with Trae Young, so I'll take number 21.
It's funny. I mean, if you ask kids nowadays, they may say Trae Young or Zion Williamson. A few years ago, kids were saying Steph Curry was their favorite player. It's funny how we do that as kids. For me, it's Michael Jordan again, the 90s. He was the biggest thing going, so you had to love Michael Jordan, unless you were a hater, I guess. I'm sure some people are. Some people still are. But I liked Michael Jordan for basketball.
I loved Jordan, too. I hate him. I hated Isaiah Thomas. That may be next week's stop. Who do we hate the most? I like that. Okay. All right. How about the NFL? And you know what, Tuck? There was a quarterback by the name of Steve Bartowski that was Atlanta Falcon back in the day. And I tell you, he was awesome. He was number 10, and he could throw the ball 100 yards. And, man, when we were out in the yard playing football with the Nerfs, we would try to Nerf football. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
We actually wanted to be Steve Bartowski. I still love him this day, and I'll take number 10 even over number 3 in Atlanta, but don't tell Matt Ryan that.
I'll go with Barry Sanders for this one. Again, a kid growing up in the 90s. I had Sega Genesis, and this was back before. I know you're not a video game guy. I'm not now either, but back then I was. Maybe you played Atari. I don't know. Did they have football on Atari, or was Sega Genesis the first to have football?
Atari and Coleco, but if you make a big joke about Coleco, I'm hanging up.
Well, for Sega Genesis, it was like the sky view, so you looked down and just had the players.
Okay.
It wasn't like 3D like it is today, but I remember Barry Sanders on that Sega Genesis game. If you had him, you could run over defensive linemen or anybody out there. So I loved Barry Sanders, and of course that related to watch him in real life too. And he is one of the greatest football players still today.
He was awesome, no doubt. All right, how about college football, Tuck? I'm curious about what your answer is going to be here.
I think you know what my answer is going to be here, and that's Cam Newton. He was the most electrifying, amazing football player to ever play college football. What other quarterback can you name that can line up at the goal line and run over a linebacker in SEC action and get in? I mean, I was an Auburn fan, of course, and maybe I would not like him if I was not an Auburn fan, but for me it was just when it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, whatever, you knew you were going to have a first down, and not many people get that privilege as a fan.
Cam Newton recruited as a tight end by Mark Richt. Come on, man.
Oh, wow.
Can't believe that. Well, no, I can believe it. I'm not surprised. I thought you might have said Bo Jackson, even though that was before your time. But
it was.
Speaking of number 34 running backs, I guess I'll take our number 34, Herschel Walker. He was the best ever. He's from Middle Georgia, of course, Rhinesville. He was awesome. And I wish I'd have seen him play in person. That's one of my regrets in sports. I did not see him play in person, but, man.
At least you don't say you did.
Well, that's true.
Could be one of those.
But you know what? We used to run home from Mass, believe it or not, to go watch the Vince Dooley show so we could see what Herschel Walker did the day before. That's when all the games weren't on TV. And now I'm going to go back and get on my front porch rocker so my nurse can wake me up later on. But Herschel Walker is mine, and I'll take that. All right, Tuck, stay well. That's Rant and Rave for this week.